political tussle in Edo State is getting heated up, Iyamu might end up being the clearest example of how not to be a politician in the contemporary Nigeria. A man who rose to political prominence to become one of the recognized political powerhouse in Edo State, now turned to a miserable, with no sure direction, beggarly politician in the same state by a miscalculated alliance with former enemy against a new assumed enemy. His story is that which can be described as the irony of an abominable union, driven by unrewardable greed. As a front-runner PDP governorship candidate, Iyamu had no business going into alliance with Oshiomole, who had earlier destroyed his reputation about 4 years ago. The drive of greed that had no reward moved into him into a union with a defined enemy to fight a man who wasn't his enemy, and that is Governor Godwin Obaseki, but whom he decided to adopt as an enemy to satisfy Oshiomole's craving. Well, from the start, it was clear that Oshiomole was fighting a battle that he might lose to Obaseki, for the fact that the only crime against Obaseki is denying Oshiomole the godfather status in the state. Unfortunately for him, Obaseki had won the heart of the Edo people with his people-concerned governance, which has greatly eliminated the hills of Oshiomole's government before Obaseki. The Iyamu's nemesis was and is the fact that Oshiomole remained an enemy previous governor of Edo State to the Edo people. The decision to rely on Oshiomole for the APC governorship ticket was the worst foolishness any man could ever display in this modern time. At least as a politician, you should be able to look at the time and look at what is on board to see if you should go with a particular godfather or whoever is pushing you from behind. You should have sense that at the end of the day, Oshiomole has done his own term, 8 years. He is now facing his own persecution as a political chairman of a party. And what does he care? He cares less about anything. But you are beginning the journey of your own political career, and all of a sudden you are. So these are very important. We should mind who we listen to for advice, or whoever is pushing us from behind. At the end of the day, they are not going to be there when your problem starts. They are not going to be there. And even if they are there, they are not going to suffer with you. You are the one that's going to suffer for every decision that you make. It's very important that we know who we are listening to, and also we tell ourselves the truth. And I think in this case, Pastor Iyamu has not told himself the truth, or probably he felt, he could sway this. Iyamu had wished Oshiomole could manipulate the system to give him a return, to give him the returnee ticket. And he came from PDP to APC, and he feels that he can clinch the party primary over a sitting governor and other interested party members who had been in the party when he ran away. This remains a joke to be understood. But Iyamu was optimistic within the vanity of Oshiomole's political emptiness in Edo State. The interesting thing was that Oshiomole, to give the onlookers a semblance of having some figments of political authority in Edo State, Oshiomole got some political hustlers for the governorship ticket recruited into his camp, and they include Pius Odubu, Chris Ogenwonye, Osaze Obase, and many others, in addition to Iyamu. Now, these men all saw the governorship ticket with each believing Oshiomole would give him, even when they all knew Oshiomole had contracted Iyamu to fight Obaseki. Sadly, Iyamu, through Oshiomole's preference, was the most loathed by others. Among them, this was because he just defected from PDP late 2019 to APC. Now, that's not a new thing, as many of them, they decamp, they defect, they cross-carpet, different names that they give to all of those things. But it's not a new thing. Being in APC does not necessarily mean that you are different from someone from PDP or AD or any of those party. So, to them, anyway, they believe that he was not qualified to be given the ticket, being a man that has just decamped. After all, many of them, they believe that they are founding members of APC, so they felt that they should be given that, not someone that is a member of another party coming in. This was the mind with which the Oshiomole's camp men, had gone into their failed mock primaries, with which they had wished to pick a consensus candidate among themselves. This failure was the first signal of the failure of Oshiomole conspiracy against Obaseki. But undeterred by his unsuccessful mock primaries, Oshiomole uses power over them as a convener of the anti-Obaseki team to pick Iyamu as a candidate and force others to concede to him. Though this did not go down well with the other members of the group, they kept calm after an alleged settlement from Oshiomole. But the drama became messy when Iyamu, in response to the accusation that he is not a registered member of the party, announced that he had registered online. Meanwhile, no online registration confers membership on anyone in APC except one had physically registered in his ward of origin, which Iyamu did not do and cannot do because pro-Obaseki men are in charge of the state primary structure, and not even in their imagination would they register a man who had declared himself the enemy of Obaseki. Thus, the Iyamu no membership of the APC opens up a vain hope in the Oshiomole's calculation, as Iyamu is by law not qualified to seek for anything under the APC platform, much more the governorship ticket. At this time, Iyamu hope on Oshiomole's brutally got liquidated, and the members of the team decided to try their individual hands out by picking the expression of interest form, making them candidates for the forthcoming APC primaries. But just maybe one of them could succeed against Obaseki. Therefore, the earlier forced acceptance of Iyamu consensus candidacy came down crashing and bringing to an end his heavy reliance on Oshiomole. For now, Iyamu is not even sure of his status as an APC man until the issue of his membership is sorted out, which certainly will not be in the immediate. I do not know what it will be for him. So if you are from Edo State and you are watching the political drama that is ongoing at the moment, as you're watching it unfold, what's your take? Do you prefer Obaseki, or do you think that you will go for Oshiomole and whatever Oshiomole brings to the table? And do you think of Oshiomole brought progress to Edo State when he was there, the first 4 years of his term? And aside building this general specialist hospital, do you think the amount that was allocated for that hospital is even what has been built there? Do you think it's a functioning hospital where all Nigerians will come in there? And what's your take about all the projects that Oshiomole claimed? Don't forget that they take pictures of a very elaborate project, but when you check the billions of naira that has been put on it, you'll be surprised, you'll be shocked. So it's not just about building projects here and there. It's about how much has been invested in this project. How much was allocated? Is there transparency? Did Oshiomole steal the money? Or are you going to say all of them steal? So forget about it. Even Obaseki is stealing. Well, either way, what do you think Obaseki is on to at the moment? Do you think he's a better hand? Do you think he is investing in the people? Because there are two ways of doing things. You are either building structures, infrastructures in the country, in the state, in the town, villages, or you are investing in the people. For example, if you are to send young people or people that are ready to school to go to school, you send them, you put out money on scholarship, and you are not building this bridge here, you're not building these other things there, but you have invested in, let's say in Edo State, you've invested in about, let's say 20,000 people. You've sent them to go study abroad, some to study in some part of Nigeria. You've invested in something in them, education. And all of these people are to bring back their knowledge, wisdom, and everything that they've acquired. That's an investment. That is investing in human resources. You have invested in that human, and you expect that they should return something back into the state. That is something also that we don't know. Also, we only think that if only when you build this bridge, you build this hospital, that shows that you've invested this and that and that. So what's your take about Obaseki? Because they've talked about Obaseki. He has won the heart of the people because he is much more focused on the citizens of the country rather than this political drama, where they claim that they built this, they did that and that. And of course, on the platform, to have seen people talking about Obaseki being somebody that has not done anything for the Edolites, for the Edo people, that he has not done anything for them, that is just there, dramatizing and doing some kind of very funny move. What's your take as regards that too? I want us to be very, objective here. Let us say it as it is. What do you think about all of this? Is Iyamu, Oshiomole, the other people, and of course the governor Obaseki? Do you think Obaseki deserves second term?